All right, y'all, we are back. A quick recap from the last episode. We got the motor and the transmission in, but it's not quite in. So the issue that we are having is that we are running the 302-2, and let me zoom in real quick on the camera. It really ain't doing no justice, but the oil pan is hitting the subframe because it's not completely flat. So let me zoom back out. So the issue is that the oil pan is hitting the subframe, and the other issue is that the transmission cross member, it bolts up in both holes on the driver's side, but it'll only catch the front hole in the back hole on the passenger side. So that's telling me that the motor needs to go a little bit forward. Now, the stock motor came damn near all the way up to the front sway bar. So I have plenty of room to come forward, especially because I'm going to be running electric fans. I mean, I'll probably have a foot between the pulley and the radiator core support, and the fans won't even stick that far out of the radiator core support. So instead of drilling holes in the cross member and putting spacers on the motor mounts to raise the motor up, what I'm gonna do, I've already spent an hour thinking about what I was gonna do, and I could have done it by now. On the cars, the 302-2, which it kind of comes up right here a little bit. So it sits up, the 302-2 sits up higher, like in this section. And then it also comes out, I think, a little bit more forward this way. So with the 302-1 oil pan, I should be able to clear the subframe, and then also I should be able to scoot the motor a little bit more forward because this baffle is further back. The 302-2, I did not have to install all this stuff, but I do have my blue Loctite. It comes with all the hardware and all that stuff. And yeah, just going to get all this assembled. Blue Loctite the bolts for the baffle. I already have the transmission cross member unbolted. It was loosely bolted in there. And then basically just gonna get the engine hoist and bring the motor up. I'm probably gonna use this front one, bring the motor up. It'll probably be like a 45-degree angle right here, and I should be able to get all the bolts I need. Hopefully the pickup tube is the same, and I can just leave the pickup tube for the 302-2 on there, throw the pan on here, RTV the four corners, slap it on there, put it back in here, and get it going. So, like, I literally been contemplating this for an hour. I could have already done it. So, let's go ahead and do it. Oh, also, besides the oil pan, the radiator core support bushings didn't quite need to be replaced yet, but I figured, since I was in here, I would go ahead and replace them, for good measures. Even though, like I said, they still had another 40 years that these could have been used, of course. But I just got like some universal basic bushings. It was like $30. The driver's side, on the passenger side, had one shim. The driver's side had three shims. But since these bushings are so different, we're gonna see. So I didn't take my fender bolts or anything loose, so the gaps are still there. I basically just need to fill the gap when I put the radiator core support on here. So it's gonna be getting new bushings. I'm probably not gonna record that. And then I do have my LS3 dipstick from, is it Speed Engineering? Yeah, Speed Engineering. This is not a sponsored anything. If I can find the Amazon link, I'll put the Amazon link down because I actually get a little kickback from the Amazon clicks. But yeah, so the goal for the day is oil pan. While I got the motor up, I will go ahead and put the dipstick tube in there. and then get everything bolted in and get the front end back on. So that's like a 5-minute intro. If you're still here, in the comments put keep going. So let me stop talking so I can get going. As you can see, the motor is up roughly 47.5 degrees. And then we have the 302-2 oil pan out, which is going to be this one. So you can see with the 302-2, the sump comes out a little bit more. And then also it's ridged out right here in the front, where with the 302-1 is actually flat, and then it goes back further. So hopefully that will solve my clearance issue. And then hopefully I can also bring the motor forward a little bit more so that the transmission cross member bolts up without me having to drill new holes. So it looks like my gasket should be fine since it did not separate from the block from the RTV on the 4 corners. And it looks like the pickup tube is the exact same. So let's get the pan. I got to put it together, put all the insides in it. This one came pre-assembled. This one did not. So let me get that all together, get it on, and I'll be back when it's back. Got the 302-1 oil pan on. I did end up switching out the pickup tube because this pickup tube has like a little bend in it, and it was hitting the bottom of the oil pan because it is flat across the bottom now. So put the pickup tube that came with this oil pan on, got the bolts torqued, like I said, the gasket and the RTV on the block side was fine. Threw it back on there. So now I wonder if I need to go ahead and try to move the engine mount back, the clamshell. But let's get it dropped in there. Let's see how it sits, and let's see if we can get the transmission cross member to bolt up how it is. And then if not, I'll jack it up. I'll probably take the motor mounts off, the clamshells off, and then get the transmission bolted in and kind of see where it needs to go. So I'll be back in about 20-30 minutes. So the motor is in but not in. What I did was that I took the bolts out of the clamshells, and then I got the transmission down. I got the eBay G-Force knockoff transmission cross member in. I got the bolts in the hole, and then I got the transmission mount lined up with the transmission cross member. So everybody says, oh, put the motor mount all the way in the front. Well, in my case, for me to have the G-Force knockoff transmission cross member to line up, mine needs to be on the first, second, third, or fourth hole. So I might put mine on from the clamshell on the fourth hole back, because when I had it all the way, the second hole from the front, it was too far back. On the plus side, that leaves me with bukus of room behind the motor, like I said, but the front accessories will still be behind the sway bar. So still plenty of room, because the power steering pump is going to be about right here, about in the factory location. So for me, with the eBay knockoff cross member, factory motor mounts, factory clamshell, ICT billet knockoff, adapter plate, 4L60E 5.3 Gen 3, I'm going to put mine 4 bolts back from the front, which is totally different from what everybody else runs. But the oil pan is clearing like a champ. So this 302-1 is clearing like a champ with all the room available. So I'm definitely happy that I switched to this pan, because now I don't have to do a bunch of drilling, spacing, all this other stuff. Caprice Classic, factory style motor mounts, factory clamshells, 302-2 oil pan is what you want. So I need to run to Ace Hardware because I need to get some motor mounts. I need to get one more transmission crossmember bolt because this one decided that it wanted to die. And I need motor mount bolts, one transmission crossmember bolt, and I need to make a run to the dump. But yeah, after that, we're gonna get the motor and transmission locked all the way in, and then we are gonna start getting the front end back together. I did sandblast and powder coat the radiator core support, so it'll look halfway decent when it's thrown back in. Oh, I missed the spot on the powder coating, so let me flip this around real quick. Let me get it powder coated. Let me show y'all how I powder coated it for you real quick. You know, it's very secret technology that a lot of companies don't want you to know about. And you know, you see those spots that I missed, just hit it with the powder coat. I prefer the matte black, flat black powder coat myself. You know, I'll be ready for SEMA next year. All right, so let me run to the dump. Let me run to Ace Hardware, get some bolts, and I'll be back when everything is bolted in, and by that time the powder coat should be dry. We are in there, fully bolted in like swimwear. So motor mounts, like I said, we are 3 back from the front. On both sides, we are good. We are in there. Everything is bolted into the car. Like I said, again, I think this is a G-Force knockoff. Everything is bolted in to the factory holes and the slots on the transmission crossmember. It is bolted in under there, so it is in the car. It is in here. It is in here. It is in here. The 302-2 oil pan has a mountain's space worth of room, and it also doesn't sit but a little bit lower than the subframe itself. I do think that the steering linkage might be rubbing. I don't think it's touching, but it's real close. So we have to keep an eye on that as it goes on. But yeah, she is in there. So I want to test fit the headers. If not, go ahead and get them on. And maybe even put the intake manifold on. Like doing the oil pressure sensor and everything. I mean, hell, even switching out the transmission shouldn't be that big of a deal. Because again, I don't know if I messed up the transmission when I pulled the transmission off without unbolting the torque converter. So the front pump may be messed up on this. We won't know. But yeah, the cam sensor and the oil pressure sensor got bukus of room back here. So if I do have to switch these out after the fact because I didn't buy new ones, shouldn't be that big of a deal. Shouldn't be that big of a deal at all. So yeah, I'm gonna get those headers and see. It seems like that's the headers everybody use. So let's get them on here and see how they fit, or if I need to make some dents in them. You know, the motor ain't nowhere close to being, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's nowhere close to being run. The motor is definitely ready to run, but with me, it's not anywhere close. If I had the wiring harness, I maybe would try to hear it turn over. But since I don't have the fuel system or anything, I'm just really not gonna worry about it. But I mean, I feel like go ahead and get the exhaust manifolds on. That'd be one less box sitting around and one more part installed and looking good. And I feel like it gives motivation as well. It gives you some motivation. You know, you get to come pop the hood and you get to see a sense of completion. I do need to unhook these transmission lines, the hard lines from the transmission, and kind of get them out the way. I should have bought the AN adapters because I thought I was going to be able to use the hard lines, but I don't think so. So I probably was going to go ahead and just take those out before the end of the day. Or I might just leave them on there. Well, no, I ain't going to be able to close the hood. So I might have to just take them out and just stuff something in the transmission hole. But yeah, the passenger side header fits flawless. So let's go over here and do the driver side and see if we have the same result. So these are the S10 shorties, and it's the one that comes with the V-band. So you got the options of the V-band, or you got the options of the flange with the 3 bolts on it. And I want to do the V-band. That way, for the O2 sensor, I can put it kind of where it's optimal. Where with the other ones, you just, I mean, I guess you technically have 3 positions, but you have to clock it in one of those or nothing at all. So just a little bit more flexibility. The other ones, like the ones with the 3 bolts with the flange, I think they're like less than $100. Probably with taxes or whatever, it might be a little bit over 100. And I think these were, gotta look how much they were. I got off Amazon. But I feel like the headers are all the same. They just come from different warehouses, basically. If I didn't have these studs, I think I could drop it in from the top. Oh, there we go. And I do have the studs instead of the bolts. That way, you know, if I do have to take these on and off, the stud itself won't have to come out the head. Just the bolts will come off and the studs will stay there. I don't plan on taking these on and off. But I will say that they fit perfectly. Got plenty of clearance to the steering shaft. And I mean, it just dropped right down in there. Now, I will need to get the 45-degree spark plug boots, because the factory spark plugs, they hit, I think, just on 2. So I'm not gonna buy any expensive ones. I'm just gonna buy probably some cheap ones, and go from there. But yeah, these went on painless, very painless indeed. I'm probably not gonna tighten up the passenger ones like really tight, because I believe to get the starter on, I have to remove. Well, no, actually, no, I don't. I don't have to remove the header on the. Ooh, is that V-band going to clear the transmission bell housing? Because that looks to be really close. I looked at it from up top. It could be the angle of the dangle, but it looks to be pretty close to. Oh no, it may just barely fit around there. Ugh. Oh no, that fits perfect. Holy snikes. I can't see. What can y'all see? Let me turn this light on. Come on, is my light dead? Oh, there we go. That fits perfect. Like, you'd have thought that these headers were made for this car in this swap, because that fits absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Cool. And yeah, the starter goes right there, so I actually can leave my headers on when I do the starter. So that's perfect. Perfect. And then that should line up where I could come straight back and go right under the right under the transmission cross member and figure out some sort of H or X, and then I might have to come out right before the rear wheel because I'm gonna do the exhaust myself. So, but yeah, that's all right. That's working out in my favor. Working out in my favor. So, I guess now we are going to get on. We are going to get on to. I need to get the dipstick in, which I found out that I can't get in until after I get the headers on, because it actually goes down in between 2, 4, and 6 to drop down there. So, and I don't even know if I even need to put this in. Well, no, because yeah, I don't have to take it back off for anything. So I'm gonna see if I can get this in. And this one seems like it just mounts right to the head. And it came with a bolt right here, which I'm gonna guess screws in right there. Yeah, and it does. So let me get that in real quick, and then when I come back, let's start getting this front end back together. And I might go ahead and just take these transmission lines off and just take something and stuff it in there. But yeah, we are making progress. I got the dipstick tube installed. We got a little wiggly jiggly dipstick, and it should just slide on in, and that should give me the accurate oil levels with this oil pan, because I guess the stock truck dipstick tube is too long, and some people claim they use the stock truck one, but they will fill it up with oil. They will mark the full line on the truck dipstick and just do that. So yeah, let's get to the front end. See if I can remember how to put it back together. Oh, before I do that, I'm gonna take this power steering pump off, and I should go ahead and but I didn't have to clean the bracket up yet. But I might go ahead and still take the power steering pump out of there. And I think I lost, because I kept the end off of the truck one, but I done moved around and I don't know what I did with it. So, but yeah, let me go ahead and take that out now. That way I can go ahead and get it out the way. So, I do want to point something out, and it's a humble brag, but my Caprice is really rust free. Like, man, I'll be watching some of y'all videos, and like, I'll be crying when I be seeing that y'all stuff be just rusted all to death. Like, I really be crying inside when y'all be showing videos and stuff, and just your A-pillars are just rusted out, and it just be rusted all up in it. Like, the worst that I have is the bottom of the doors, which I'm really not going to worry about. Let me turn this light on. The back door is probably the worst of all the doors, but that's just because I think the window seals and the sweepers fail, and the water just go in the bottom of the doors and just sit. I mean, because I was worried about the inside of the trunk drain being rusted, and I pulled the weather stripping off, and man, like, you can't get too much more perfect than that. And this was just full of just straw, dirt, and everything else. I knew it was going to be rusted. And then, like, I don't want to hurt y'all feelings, nothing like that, but this is literally like after I power washed it. I sprayed some Awesome and hit it with my power washer, and this is how this car look. And it's set for 12 years. It's set for 12 years. Like, I mean, we can do rust for rust. Like, that looks bad, but it's all surface rust. Like, it's not bad. And look at these floors. Look at that. That might be the factory undercoating. Like, man, I've seen so many of y'all videos, man, and like just the whole floor just be gone. Like I hate to brag. But like, I be feeling bad when I be seeing y'all videos about y'all cars, man. Like, this all surface rust. Again, this car set for 12 years, like, in the dirt. Like, it left an imprint. And like, the worst that I have is on the passenger side fender well where the battery sits. This, for whatever reason, just had a bunch of junk and dirt right here. So this and the same spot on the radiator core support is literally the worst rust that this vehicle has. And I'm probably just gonna get like a big washer and put right there for support. But even though that's gone, that's still solid. It is still solid. Like, I really be feeling bad when I be seeing y'all stuff, man. Y'all spending $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 and replacing trunk floor, the whole inside floor, and the A pillars, and like, you gotta replace the whole doors. Like, dang. But you know, ain't my problem. So I went ahead and power washed the is my light off? Yeah. I went ahead and power washed the power steering pump and the bracket, and looks good enough. I'll probably go and get the Amazon China knockoff brackets. What's going on, Jeff? I'll probably get the Chinese knockoff brackets when I do the AC, because I don't think the AC will fit in the factory location down here at the bottom. So I'll probably do the R4 high mount AC, and then I'll get the alternator and power steering bracket when I order that. Oh, I went and got some a few hours ago, but I appreciate it. But yeah, when I get the AC mount, then I'll spend the money and get the power steering and alternator mount as well. So, oh, and this is the line out of the power steering on the 2002 Yukon, and then this is the factory one for the Caprice. So from my understanding, the power steering fitting from the Yukon screws right into this. This one screwed right into it. The high pressure line screws right into it. And that truck did come with it came with a power steering cooler. Where is it at? That's the transmission pump that was on it. It came with a power steering cooler. I don't know what I did with it. But I may or may not run it. I mean, I really don't see the point of running it, but I got it, and I might run it just for shits and giggles, because I think how it was ran, it was just it wasn't on the high side. It was just on the low side where it was circulating out and then back into the power steering pump. But yeah, I might do a time lapse of putting the front end together. I might just come back when it's all together and let you know what I used for the shims and the radiator core support mounts, since the old ones, I mean, like I said earlier, it's another 40 years on these. So I mean, I definitely could have kept running these, but you know, while I'm in here, I'll just put some freshies. Radiator core support on. I used random washers and stuff that were around to get that bolted on. Everything looks good. Same on this side. As you can see, I forgot to sandblast and powder coat that stuff. So oh, you can't even see it up here. All right. All right, there we go. Sandblasted and powder coated. So now let me go in and let me get the headlight and grill and get that slap back on as well. It done got dark. So while I'm under here, I'm gonna go ahead and take off this engine lift plate, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the flat valley cover on. It comes with the gasket, but since I bought the Felpro gaskets, I'm going to use the Felpro gaskets, and I'm going to do knock sensor relocation. So that's why I have the flat valley. So I have to buy the knock sensor extension harness and the brackets to mount them on the side of the block. But I'll be back when I got this valley cover off, when it's time to put the lift plate off, and it's time to put the valley cover on. Man, this motor sits so far back. It was easier for me to just hop in the doggone engine bay and do this, to be honest with you. So we have I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a flat tray. And I got the Felpro gasket on here. And I mean, before I put the screws in, that's basically what it looked like right there. Like I said, no spot for the knock sensors. They will be relocated. Let me see if I can zoom in. I don't know. It's too dark out here. So I'm going to get this going, and when it's done, I'll be back. I may go ahead and throw the intake manifold on while I'm here as well. So we'll see. And the water pump and the power steering pump. I might go ahead and just dress up the front. All installed, looking good, looking fresh. I'm probably going to go ahead and just put on the intake manifold, do the water pump, do the power steering alternator bracket, put the alternator on, and I'll probably call it a night. And when's the next time I'm gonna make it down here? Don't have the slightest idea. But I figure I'll go ahead and put all this stuff on, and I will put the exhaust thingamabobbers on the car, and just like wrap it up with some plastic or something to try to keep moisture out the motor. That's the main reason I want to go ahead and put the intake manifold and stuff on to keep moisture out the motor. And I need to put oil in the car and prime it and everything as well. So maybe I'll be coming back and doing that a little bit. But yeah, let's see if we can get this buttoned up. Plus, it'll look good when we come back and we see a complete motor in here. So, yep, let me go, and probably need to charge this light on the camera and charge my headlamp before it dies. I need to get one of those hood lamps that bolts to the hood. I need to get one of those. Speaking of hood, this looks jacked up. I hope they didn't strip the whole. I'm just not noticing that. Great. Well, we back on the ground. I can't remember if I showed y'all where we're ending for this episode. Man, it's getting cold out here. That's why I want to get the motor transmission in before the weather break. But yeah, this is where we are with the 81 Caprice. We got the motor in, transmission in, G-force, eBay knockoff, cross member in. We got the headers on. We got the collectors on. The intake manifold is on. Water pump, alternator, power steering pump. I have the lines for the power steering pump in. This is 2002 Yukon line going straight into the 81 Caprice power steering box. This is the line that came out of the Yukon as well. I've got two options. Either I'm going to get a hose and just looping around to it, or I will run the power steering cooler that came on the 2002 Yukon. So one of the two. But yeah, this is how we're looking. I need to come back, take all the excess wiring that's not needed out, and then figure out what is needed over here. And then I need to figure out if I'm going to depin the harness at the house, or if I'm going to just plug it up and just cut out whatever I don't need. But when I'm gonna get back here, I don't have the slightest idea. So this is what you get for now. I need to do something to the intake, but everything else, I mean to the throttle body, everything else is plugged off. I have some rags in the exhaust collectors. I just need to do something to the throttle body, and then that should be good until next time. Oh, let me show you something cool. So I had the stock drive shaft out of the Yukon, and I was like, let's see how that fits. And it bolts up in the rear. It fits in the rear end. But my question is this good, or does it need to be in the transmission more? So I guess the wheelbase or the correlation of everything in the Caprice is a little bit further out than the Yukon. But y'all let me know. If that much gap is fine, then I may just run this Yukon drive shaft instead of spending $500 and getting one made. Or if I can do something to get like a new yoke or something like that to make that better, let me know. But yeah, I'm kind of thrilled that that two-wheel drive Yukon drive shaft basically bolts in here. I am ultimately, I'm not running that 7.5 rear end. I'm gonna run this 95 Caprice 9C1 factory rear disc brake rear end. And I have checked, and the Yukon drive shaft fits in there perfectly. So I don't know what the difference is, like lengthwise, between the 8.5 and the 7.5. But potentially, if this comes out a little bit further, it may be an even better fit. But I do need to go through here, put new bushings in the upper and lower trailing arms, and I might stick with I'm gonna at least need to replace this brake line that goes into the subframe, because that looks like it's worse for wear. But yeah, this ultimately will be going in. So yeah, this is gonna be it. I need to clean up and boogie on down the road. So like everything you do, think, build, enjoy. Peace.